Hello, lovelies. How are you doing? Have you had a great week? I've had a relatively good week. I mean, I can't complain. At least the power has been steady, so that's enough reason to be joyful. But I hope you have all been doing well. I really hope you've all been doing well. Real quick, I have like this very, very funny joke for you guys. And it's actually funny. Okay, I know that when you're saying a joke, you're not supposed to say it's funny, but it's actually funny. So it goes, what did the host of Top Chef say to the contestant? What did the host of Top Chef say to the contestant? Let us begin. Like, let us begin, but like, let us. Do you get it? It's actually funny. Like, when you think of it, it's actually funny. Like, let us begin. You're not laughing. I can tell you're not. It's funny. Like, do you get? Well, I actually think it's funny. And even if you did not laugh, I hope it like made you happy. It's actually a terrible joke, but you have to try. I don't think I'm a funny person. Anyway, we will be getting into the the world news segment in a bit. How do we gather our news? Our news is gathered very randomly without any particular focus on any topic. It could be political, business, technological, or cultural. We just throw ourselves out there and try to find out what is happening for you guys. We gather news this way because we want to be as open to as many sources as possible and still maintain our balance. We read the stories directly from our sources so that their point of view will not be changed. Our methodology is not perfect, and if you think we can improve this, do let us know. For the meantime, we hope you enjoy today's episode. So, who are these week's news sources? We have Reuters, Channels News Asia, TechPoint Africa, and Business Day Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go around the world in 30 minutes. Okay, Nvidia Corporation has agreed to pay $5.5 million to settle civil charges that the technology firm did not properly disclose the impact of crypto mining on its gaming business, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, said on Friday. In back-to-back quarters in fiscal 2018, Nvidia failed to disclose that crypto mining was a significant element of its revenue growth from sales of chips designed for gaming, the SEC said in a statement and charging order. The firm, which did not admit nor deny the SEC's findings, agreed to pay a civil penalty of $5.5 million. A spokesperson from Santa Clara, California-based Nvidia declined to comment. In 2018, Nvidia's chips became popular for crypto mining, the process of obtaining crypto rewards in exchange for verifying transactions on distributed ledgers, the SEC said. The regulator alleged that Nvidia knew that information but failed to share it with investors. Meanwhile, Musk's new Twitter funding could draw TikTok-like US scrutiny. Elon Musk's decision to accept some foreign investors as part of his $44 billion buyout of Twitter Inc. runs the risk of inviting the kind of regulatory scrutiny over US national security that social media peer TikTok faced, legal experts say. Musk disclosed on Thursday that Saudi Arabia's Prince Al-Walid bin Talal, Qatar's sovereign wealth fund, and Binance, the world's biggest cryptocurrency exchange founded by Chinese native Changpeng Zhao, were part of a group of investors that would help him fund the acquisition of Twitter. This could give the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States an opening to scrutinize the deal for potential national security risks. 6 regulatory lawyers not involved in the transaction and interviewed by Reuters said. CFIUS is a panel of government agencies and departments that reviews mergers and acquisitions for potential threats to U.S. security. To the extent that Musk's proposed acquisition of Twitter includes foreign investment, it very well could fall under CFIUS jurisdiction, said Chris Greiner, chair of law firm Strook and Lavan LLP's national security practice. Also, Musk aims to quintuple Twitter's revenue to $26.4 billion by 2028. Elon Musk is aiming to increase Twitter's annual revenue to $26.4 billion by 2028, up from $5 billion last year, the New York Times reported on Friday, citing a pitch deck presented by the world's richest man to investors. Advertising will fall to 45% of total revenue under Musk, down from about 90% in 2020, generating $12 billion in revenue in 2028, while subscriptions are expected to pull in another $10 billion, according to the report. Musk anticipates he can increase Twitter's average revenue per user to $30.22 in 2028 from $24.83 last year, it added. He also expects Twitter to have 11,072 employees by 2025, up from around 7,500. There's no doubt that Elon Musk is really going for it. Up next, Indian court lifts block on $725 million of Xiaomi's assets in royalty case. An Indian court has put on hold a federal enforcement agency's decision to seize $725 million from local bank accounts of China's Xiaomi Corp for suspected violations of foreign exchange laws, two sources told Reuters on Friday. The Enforcement Directorate last week seized the bank assets of Xiaomi Technology India Private Limited, saying it had found the company illegally remitting funds to 3 foreign-based entities, including one Xiaomi Group entity, in the guise of royalty payments. Xiaomi has denied any wrongdoing, saying its royalty payments and statements to the bank are all legit and truthful. It later filed a challenge against the Indian Financial Crime Fighting Agency's decision in the High Court of the Southern Karnataka state. On Thursday, after hearing Xiaomi's lawyers, a judge put a hold on the Enforcement Directorate's decision, said the two sources, who declined to be identified as they were not authorized to speak to media. Meanwhile, in South Korea, the new president is set to get tough on the North. South Korea's hawkish new president was sworn in on Tuesday, the 10th of May, and he looks set to get tough with Pyongyang, departing from what he has called the subservient approach of his predecessors. For the past 5 years, Seoul has pursued a policy of engagement with North Korea, brokering summits between Kim Jong-un and then US President Donald Trump, while reducing joint US military drills Pyongyang sees as provocative. But talks collapsed in 2019 and have languished since, while the nuclear-armed North has dramatically ramped up weapons tests, conducting 14 so far this year, including the launch of its largest ever intercontinental ballistic missile. Unlike outgoing President Moon Jae-in, who saw North Korea as a negotiating partner, incoming leader Yoon Suk-yeol sees the country as an adversary, said Cheong Seong-chang of the Center for North Korea Studies at the Sejong Institute. TikTok decides to split ad revenue with creators. TikTok has introduced Pulse, a new advertising program that will allow brands to place advertisements alongside the platform's most popular videos. Isn't this really fantastic news for TikTok Pulse creators? To put things into perspective, ad revenue will be split 50-50 between creators and publishers. This is similar to what YouTube offers creators, who reportedly receive a 55% cut. Now, you're interested, aren't you? Because I know you have a TikTok account. But there's a catch. TikTok says Pulse will be available only to creators and publishers with at least 100,000 followers. And even then, advertisements will only appear alongside the top 4% of all TikTok videos. Moreover, TikTok's Pulse will also ensure that creator content is suitable for advertisements. This means that Pulse will allow brands to target their ads to specific areas of TikTok. Brands can use Pulse to place ads alongside videos in 12 different categories, including beauty, fashion, pets, gaming, TV and movies, auto, Spanish language, sports and recreation, and more. For the time being, this feature will be available to a select group of users in the United States beginning in June 2022 and sometime in September 2022, more countries. So if you have a TikTok account, you might want to start boosting your followers to about 100,000. Next up, Shell reports $9.1 billion profit in the first quarter of 2022, which is the highest they have had since 2008. The global oil company Shell on Thursday announced profits of $9.1 billion for the first quarter of 2022, the biggest they've had since 2008. This development, according to the company's first quarter 2022 results report, is due to rising commodity prices, leading calls for oil and gas firms to pay a windfall tax to help British consumers with spiraling energy bills. The corporation earned $9.1 billion in adjusted earnings for the 3 months ending March 31st, according to the report. Revenues were $3.2 billion in the same quarter a year ago and $6.4 billion in the fourth quarter of 2021. According to Refinitiv, adjusted earnings for the first quarter will be $9.1 billion. In addition, the oil giant hiked its first quarter dividend by nearly 4% to $0.25 per share. Shell said it has completed $4 billion of its $8.5 billion share buyback program planned for the first half of the year. The remaining $4.5 billion in share repurchases are expected to be completed before the second quarter earnings report. On Thursday morning, the company's stock gained 3%. Up next, Volkswagen boosts electric car investment in Spain to 10 billion euros. German carmaker Volkswagen AG and partners will invest 10 billion euros, that's about 10.6 billion US dollars, to make electric vehicles and batteries in Spain, its chief executive said on Thursday, 3 billion euros more than it had previously committed. The company also announced a partnership deal with Spain's largest power utility, Iberdrola, which will set up a solar park to partly power the battery plant to be built in the municipality of Sagunto, near Valencia. Iberdrola will invest 500 million euros in the electrification plan, its chief executive officer, Ignacio Sánchez Galán, told reporters, without giving any further details. Up next, EU Antitrust Chief calls for global approach towards tech giants. Europe's antitrust chief, Margrethe Vestager, the architect of landmark rules to curb the power of US tech giants, called on Thursday for a global approach towards big tech to prevent companies taking advantage of enforcement gaps. Vestager, who has handed out billions of euros in fines to Alphabet's Google and launched investigations into Apple, Amazon, and Meta platforms Facebook, said there was a global agreement on the issues raised by large digital platforms. This debate is no longer a hot topic amongst competition practitioners, but it has strong political attention, she told a conference organized by the German cartel office. Vestager urged antitrust watchdogs around the world to work together to tackle the issue. Close cooperation will be necessary because we will not be short of work and we will not be short of novel services or practices to look at, she said. It goes without saying that the more we, as an international competition community, are able to harmonize our approach, the less opportunity there will be for global tech giants to exploit enforcement gaps between our jurisdictions, Vestager said. US antitrust enforcers and some US states are also investing Google, Facebook, and Apple. Big tech is also under fire in South Korea, India, and Australia. Meanwhile, Google is set to shut down YouTube Go. On Tuesday, May 3rd, 2022, Google announced that YouTube Go would be shut down permanently in August 2022. It was introduced in 2016 to serve users in areas with limited connectivity, data prices, and low-end devices. According to Google, since its launch, YouTube has invested in improvements to the main YouTube app that make it perform better in these environments, while also delivering a better user experience that is inclusive of our entire community. Don't forget that Google revealed in 2020 that YouTube Go had over 500 million downloads, making it one of the platform's most popular apps. Also, in December 2021, Google redesigned the UI for Android 12 Go, amongst other things. So, what's next for YouTube Go users? Google advises YouTube Go users to download the main YouTube app or visit youtube.com through their browsers. What do YouTube Go users who want to switch to the YouTube app benefit? Compared to YouTube Go, the main YouTube app offers a better overall user experience and includes features that the former does not. YouTube Go users, for example, are unable to comment, post, use dark mode, or create content within the app. They can now use the main YouTube app to access all of YouTube Go's missing features. What's more, Google stated that it is developing new user controls to help viewers with limited data usage reduce their mobile data usage. Well, that is definitely good news. Up next, EU plans to ban all Russian oil imports. The European Union has announced plans to totally ban Russian crude oil for the next 6 months and refined fuels by the end of the year as part of the sixth round of sanctions aimed at putting more pressure on Vladimir Putin over his invasion of Ukraine. Ursula von der Leyen, President of the European Commission, made this known in the European Parliament on Wednesday morning as she unveiled the bloc's new package of measures against Russia. The crude ban and other measures will be detailed to the EU ambassadors on Wednesday and are expected to be implemented by the end of the week. This will be a complete import ban on all Russian oil, seaborne and pipeline, crude and refined, she said. We will make sure that we phase out Russian oil in an orderly fashion, in a way that allows us and our partners to secure alternative supply routes and minimize the impact on global markets. Also, she reiterates that the task will not be as easy as some of the European Union member states are dependent on Russian oil. Meanwhile, Uzbekistan legalizes solar-powered crypto mining. Uzbekistan will allow companies to mine cryptocurrencies using solar energy and will exempt all crypto operations by domestic and foreign companies from income tax, according to a presidential decree published this week. The Tashkent government wants miners to power their farms by installing their own solar panels. Alternatively, mining companies can be connected to the power grid if they pay double the regular price. However, during peak consumption periods, extra surcharges can be levied according to the decree. No license is required for mining, but the company must be registered by a newly formed Uzbek National Agency for Prospective Projects, the document said. Some cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, are created by a process called proof of work, which requires computers to mine the currency by solving complex puzzles. Powering those computers involves large amounts of electricity. Uzbekistan legalized cryptocurrency trading in 2018, but only on a domestic crypto exchange. The Central Asian nation has also launched a series of renewable energy projects, mostly solar and wind power plants. Neighboring Kazakhstan, which became the world's second largest center for Bitcoin mining after the United States last year, has cracked down on mining after such operations strained its power grid, dominated by aging coal power plants. All right, guys, that wraps up the world news for this week. Such interesting headlines. I mean, solar panels, it's really, really something to think about. So many interesting headlines. Elon Musk is in for a lot this year and then down to 2028. Did you guys really not think that the joke in the beginning was funny? Because I still think it's funny. Like, is it just me? Okay, maybe it's just me. Anyway, I will see your beautiful faces next week. I remain your host, Emediong Udoh.